I'm here in South Shields with trainer Malcolm Gates and former English and Northern Area Super Flyweight champion.
Take two.
Yeah. No, but interesting. I was speaking to Malcolm earlier, Anthony, about vacating the English belt. Obviously moving forwards with that. So do you think you've got your obviously match with Terry Broadbent again? Is that no? Is that?
Terry's pulled out. Terry's took another path.
He's pulled out. Okay.
Yeah, he's boxing there. He's down to boxing Ross Birkinshaw for the Commonwealth.
Right. Okay. So what? Okay. So he's moved. Right. So has a opponent been named for?
No, we're working on one or two things. We've got one or two names. We're just waiting for them to be confirmed. You know.
Okay. Cool. Because that fight obviously you had last year in Temple Park. That was it. Steve Rafe said if that was televised, that'd be fight of the year because toe to toe sort of in the ring.
It was a good fight. It was a good cracking fight. It was a hard fight. It was a 50. When you going into the fight, it was going to be a tough 50-50 fight. It wasn't a walkover by any means, you know. But I think we got the win that we deserved.
Yeah, of course.
A few things happened in the background on that fight what a lot of people didn't know of. Like I picked up a bit of an injury in that 3 weeks before the fight, which meant I couldn't train for 3 weeks before the fight. So I missed out on all the sparring and everything, which I should have had in them 3 weeks.
Yeah, of course.
But I was confident that I had put enough work in prior to picking up an injury. Fitness wise, I was fit enough, strong enough, well enough, so obviously we're confident enough of winning as well, so just went ahead and took that fight in. It was maybe a little bit harder than what it should have been, but all to say it was a good hard fight.
I know, yeah, you've done the job. So in terms of, do you see yourself as a team defending your Northern Area belt, or do you think down the line?
Yeah, I'll just do whatever's right for us, you know, whatever the right fight is. I mean, I haven't really got anything set in stone. I mean, obviously we want to hopefully box for the British title later on in the year. But I just do the fighting and that, and I leave the managing and stuff up to this man here, so
of course,
I'll just do whatever he says.
Malcolm, obviously you've involved with a few pro fighters at the moment. How long have you two worked together, yourself and Anthony?
I've been with Anthony since he was amateur.
Okay.
Anthony boxed at the amateur club and he trained with us and the amateur club, so we brought him through. He had less than 30 amateur fights, believe it or not.
Really?
He done okay in the amateurs. He won the national novices under 10s and he boxed a couple of times in the ABAs, boxed the likes of Ryan Farag and Josh Warrington and
wow.
And then he decided to turn professional. Obviously he'd already been training here, so the natural progression was to turn professional.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And Steve Rafe, has that been recent, that move to your promoter, or has it been?
We're not tied in with any promoters at the minute. Obviously there's a couple of promoters up here putting shows on. So we just go wherever's best for us at the time and whatever, you know, but we're not tied to anybody. Like, we're our own men, you know, so we just make our own decisions and do whatever's right for us.
Yeah, no, of course. In terms of that, obviously, speaking to you, Malcolm, about Butler vacating, do you see yourself number 4, you now?
Yes, I.
Yeah, so the likes of, would you see yourself in the mix with possibly, obviously there's Cowify, Butler looks like he's going to be getting that shot. Jamie Conlon. Yeah. I mean, would these be, do you think in this year or possibly next year? Or
whatever. I mean, these are the fights what we're working to get, you know.
Yeah, of course.
We're starting to get to that stage now where we can prepare for these big fights and we can get ready for the big fights, you know. And they're the fights that we want to be in. That's what everyone gets into the game for, you know.
Of course,
to get onto the big stage. And that's where we're heading.
There's not a lot of people in Anthony's division. You mentioned Paul Butler. Paul Butler's levels above us, if I'm honest. You know, he's world class Paul. But we will box anyone else if the opportunity and the finances right. We'll box anybody, you know.
Yeah, of course. If not necessarily all the time, but nowadays you have certain boxers that sort of try and skip the British route to pick up international belts. Is that something you'd be interested in, or would you rather do the traditional British, European? Or
Obviously we won the area, we won the English, now we want to win the British.
Yeah,
we want to have a good 10 rounder in April, and then look at the British title.
Yeah.
We haven't ducked anyone. We've given up the belt because it didn't suit with time-wise. We had to defend the belt by end of May. If we end up boxing anyone, we'll box them. We haven't ducked anyone. We just wasn't the right time for the to retain the English belt. You know?
No, of course. And obviously April 4th on the Bradley Saunders cards. Do you think, obviously with Travis Dickinson last year televised on Channel 5, you had obviously Bradley and Jeff Saunders both signed a ready hand. Do you think North East could, compete with the likes of Sheffield, Liverpool and London in terms of bringing the British, European and possibly world champions?
It's given the North East the opportunity, innit? And
that's it, yeah.
And that's what it's about. I mean, boxing on a whole in the North East as well is starting to pick up a little bit now. Like over recent years. So obviously getting the TV and stuff up here will be a massive help for all local boxers, not just for myself. Because I mean, past Manchester and stuff like that, it kind of stops. They don't really get up this end so much.
No.
So obviously opportunity knocks for a lot of local lads up here. So it can only be good things ahead.
Oh no, of course. Malcolm, when you got into boxing, you was a fan of a boxer from around here, wasn't you? I was reading.
I used to go and watch a lad called Graham Ahmed.
Oh, okay, Graham.
We used to have a night spot in South Shields called Buddies, and Graham used to fight there all the time, and I used to go down and watch him. I got a bit of a bug for the boxing. I went and had a couple of fights, wasn't very good. And I think training wasn't my forte, and I started training amateurs and obviously moved on to progression. Started off with Tommy Conroy on the split bucket and worked my way from there,
No, wow. So obviously you're both, and Anthony just had the news, obviously you got your sponsors in, so now, obviously you live, breathe and eat boxing. This obviously the next step, getting your sponsors in now with work, so it's sort of full time now, training and
I mean, I've 8 out of my 9 fights I've had to fit in training around work and vice versa and family life and everything, and it's hard work, and you can't really juggle the two effectively. Like, something has to give somewhere along the line. You kind of train to your full capacity, and you've got to have your rest period in between
of course.
and stuff like that. So I've had a couple of sponsors come on board this time, which is now enabled us to take that bit of time off work and letting us get in the gym, train when I need to, and more importantly, to get that rest when you need it.
That's it. That's the main thing.
Because it's just as important as your training, if not more so,
Yeah. No, I know that there's the odd you have them boxers at Town Pro and then work catches up on them and then they end up taking that route and they not become journeymen per se, but they start to, they don't get the sponsorships. So that's great that you've got the sponsorships. But no, so in terms of this time, say let's look at it this time next year, where would you both like to be in terms of the progression and your stance?
Well, obviously,
I'd
like to be the owner of the Lonsdale belt. I'd like to have that British title.
I'd like to own it outright.
That's obviously what we're set out. That's what the next move is, and that's what we're setting out to do. But obviously, like everybody else, you take one fight at a time, one step at a time. See what's around the corner and see what opportunities come up.
That's it. Yeah. It was Jason Booth, was it, that won Eliminator? So with Cal, do you think it could be a case of Cal, you fight going for it against Jason Booth, or would
it's whatever the board will pass? It's out of our hands. We can suggest a fight at the board and say no.
It must be frustrating.
It's frustrating. I mean, he hasn't defended the belt since I think about 2012, Paul Butler, but not for the Paul. He doesn't know where he challenges.
Yeah, of course.
And he's won the world title. At bantamweight now he's moved back down. He's going to win it again. It's super fly, which I believe he will win it. He's an exceptional talent, Paul. And hopefully we're in the mix, because we're not going through the back door, we're in the top 3 now,
Yeah, no, of course. Do you find it hard as well when, there's certain massive promotional stables that sometimes get, because they've been viewed on TV a bit more, they get the cut of the cake first before sort of yourselves, when you've been obviously working yourself up, and sometimes it can take someone just to get, not undeservingly get that shot, but obviously you've both, you know, like you said, you've worked full time. Like
it's the public, the media is a massive tool, you know.
Yeah, of course.
To get in the public eye and get that exposure, and get your name out there and for people to see you. Then obviously you become more familiar.
Yeah. If other boxers get it that way, well, good luck to them, you know. I mean.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, we can just come to the gym, work hard, and hopefully, rewards will come. You know?
Yeah. In terms of what, obviously, certain boxers have different. Boxers and trainers have different ideas, but the perfect training camp, how long would you say that would be? 6 weeks, like 4 weeks?
I like to get them in for 10 weeks. I like
10 weeks.
I like to do all the groundwork. And everything.
Meticulous.
Then we do the sparring, and then we do obviously the pads and the sparring. But I like to have about 10 weeks. You never ever ideally get 10 weeks.
No.
Anthony, but I like to do everything properly. You know what I mean?
No, of course.
It brings the weight down right and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah. And you mentioned strength and conditioning. Does that include the nutritionist as well for Anthony? Or
I've got a lad who looks after me nutrition. Chris Davison from Custom Diets. You know, obviously he looks after everything for us. You know, he tells us what to eat, when to eat it, how much to eat, what to have, not what to have. Everything's written down for us. And anything's ever. He's always at the end of the phone for any questions or if I need him for anything or anything like that. He's always there. And I've just started with a lad doing strength and conditioning, like one-on-one work with him. It's a lad called Lee Tiffin he owns Black Sheep Fitness Academy. So I'm with him a couple of days a week. I've been down there this morning, and obviously he's working on my strength and conditioning. And I'm hoping to see a big difference in me power and my strength in this next fight, you know.
Yeah, of course.
As I've seen, Anthony, a lot of pro boxer trainers just think, this is me lad and everything I do, but I'm a great believer in shared knowledge, you know, and these lads are specialists in their field, so Anthony's going to benefit, and that's the main thing. You know?
No. You obviously have a great trainer-boxer relationship, and in terms your fight on the 4th, will it be? Do you know if it will be televised on Sky or?
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, when we made the original fight, it was going to be televised. It's like anything else, everything changes. I've been to shows when you're going to be on the telly, and then the next week you're not. You know what I mean? The TV shows are like schedules, you know.
It'll be a good enough fight to be on the TV, put away, because I'm never on a dull fight.
No.
It'll be an entertaining fight, no matter who the opponent is or who will fight. Who will fight.
Of course.
It'll be worthy of a bit airtime, you know.
Oh yeah, of course.
Never been in a bad fight yet. Obviously, I'm not just saying it because he's my boxer. But,
No.
You know, that's why he sells so many tickets, because he gets people off that seat, you know, when he come to watch him.
Of course.
I mean, the South Shield show was absolutely fantastic in his hometown, and
I heard,
the atmosphere and the water that was unreal, you know.
Do you think there's any chance of maybe, obviously you're at that level now, do you think you could fight again at Temple Park or now? Was it
we don't need to travel with Anthony. We've got a fan base here. If we can get the connections to get the fight here, we will. The South Shields have backed up the hill. They've been brilliant. Not just the fans, the sponsorship. We've got to put the show on. We went and asked a few people to put the money up to get the show going. And then obviously Anthony sold a lot of tickets. And we had 7 really good fights. I had 3 lads on the show, the 3 winners. They weren't easy fights. They weren't good fights, you know. And obviously Anthony was top of the bill, which was just fantastic for you.
No, of course.
It was a good show, it was a cracking show.
And you've fought at the Stadium of Light twice, have you,
yes,
Anthony? What was that like? Was that
Phil Jeffries' summer run was I mean, they're good shows, but I think it just lacks a little bit of atmosphere at those shows, because it's kind of like it's down on the pitch, the ring sort of thing, and everybody's here. I mean, you can hear everybody, especially my fans in Ireland, you could hear them anyway, you know.
He boxed for the area title there. Phil was good enough to give an opportunity to box for the area title on his show, and we boxed Mohammed Wackers, who was a really good fighter. And I was in the corner, and the atmosphere was like, it was deafening, you know. I thought, you could know all Anthony's fans, you know, banging the seats.
Coming down, I can imagine. That's amazing. Is it more difficult now that obviously Terry Broadbent's pulled out, not knowing, or either way, obviously, does it make training easier? It
doesn't make any difference, does it? Like,
it doesn't matter, because we train. We don't train for a specific fight. We train to be ready for for any fight on the day. You know yourself, one or 2 days before the fight, someone can pull out with a cut.
Of course, yeah.
So we just get prepared. He's getting great sparring off a lad called Thomas Somba, who boxed in the Olympics for the Cameroon.
Oh wow, okay.
He's at Sunderland now with a good friend of mine, Sean Casey.
Fantastic.
We get really good sparring off little Thomas, you know. So
oh, that's amazing.
We're prepared for anything, really.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And your other boys, Malcolm, you've got Lee Mould, sorry.
Lee Mould's undefeated. He's just won the Northern Area title. We went to Gateshead and boxed a lad called Craig Dixon, who was a really good amateur and 12-0 as a pro. Went to Dixon's hometown and we won the welterweight title in an absolutely belting fight. Great fight. Not a great fight for a trainer because your heart's pounding, but a fantastic fight for the fans. And he was second champion this year, like top of the year, obviously Anthony winning the English and then
yeah, of course, yeah.
And I've got a really talented lad called Tom Whitfield. He's 2-0 as a pro and he's boxing his third fight on the 8th of March on Jaffa Show.
Oh,
he's boxing an unbeaten kid from Hartlepool, Dan Cope.
Nice.
Equally as good lad. So it's a genuine 50-50 fight. It's all performance
yeah,
on the
yeah.
day. You know, it's a really step up for Tom. You know.
No, smashing. I mean, going back a few years, I went to Anthony Joshua's debut at the O2, and I've got to tell you the best fight I saw was probably for a Southern Area belt. Danny Connor versus I can't remember his name, but it was a great fight. And them fights at this level, they're so competitive and they're just end to end, like toe to toe action. And no, it's good to see. In terms of the development, you know, you've got Anthony and the talent. Curious to know, like, providing obviously, you know, say, speaking, if you win the British and then move further forward, would you like, because I know some fighters and some promoters even, they prefer their fighters to be home based, but if you say you had a fight that would be abroad or further down the country, obviously, you know, speaking, you know, for future reference, like, would you take it or would you prefer, I know some boxers prefer to stay home based.
I'm not really too fussed, like, obviously, that's it. Yeah. It just it depends on the fight and what.
Yeah.
Like obviously, at the end of the day, we're in the
finance,
business onward, you know. So
and the finance, just business. Yeah.
It's got to make sense. Otherwise, like you're not gonna go away.
No.
For now, do you know what I mean? But I'll happily go anyway. Like comfortable. It doesn't phase us one little bit.
No.
I'm quite looking forward to going away and doing the business somewhere else and taking the fans on a road trip. To be honest with you.
That's it.
They itching to go, yeah. So.
Well, we only had one last year where we went talks to box Conlon in Belfast, can you remember that? And then the talks just dried up, so we never heard anything back from them. So obviously he's got a different opportunity, which is, well, we're looking at him, you know, but you know, we're not bothered because we prepare, you know, and as I say, a ring's a ring, and at the end of the day, you get in any box to the best of your ability, simple as that, you know.
Oh, of course. As a trainer, would you say, in terms of Conlon, and you have certain fighters that progress through, would you prefer to take on, as a trainer, someone that sort of comes through as, you know, an Olympian and then, you know, hits the pros, or someone in case of, you know, he's had a good amateur but he sort of turns pro straight away? What do you think is sort of like to try and turn him into your techniques and that? Would you say it's more difficult for...
Well, to be honest, amateur and obviously professional are two different sports.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
But you get people like your fight they've been a professional for years because they've trained full time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
they've got the Team England and
for when they do turn professional, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's great for them, you know. Good luck to them. But at the end of the day, whoever walks through the door, I'll always give them 110% of my time.
Yeah, of course.
Do, you know?
Yeah. Oh no, smashing. I won't waste your time any longer. Thank you for your time. I just two little questions. I just obviously talks keep on going. Whether it actually ever gets made, I just wanted both your opinions. Mayweather Pacquiao, if it happens.
I think it's past its sell-by date. If that's me, to be honest. I think it'll be a good fight in guarantee, but. The fight should have been 5 years ago. It'll not be the same fight now as what it would have been 5 years ago. No. I mean,
but if it does happen, I'll pick Mayweather win it all day.
All day, yeah.
I think Pacquiao's kind of like his mind's elsewhere now. He's not really, hasn't got the same mindset, you know. So
he's into politics, and I think when he got knocked out there, it was a bad knockout, you know.
There was, they say.
When they go down face first, you know they're not going to get up. And it was a bad knockout for him, like.
But it'll still make for a good fight, you know. It'll make for a good one.
It'll make for a good money fight.
Good money fight, but...
People keep putting my Facebook in boxing, what do you think? And I just text back, I'm bored with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I've got better things to do than wait for someone who's already got millions and millions to say he wants to fight.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Another one, obviously it's a bit of a more, they're both legends, but I'd say if they were both in their prime, who would you go for, Ali or Tyson?
I'll go Tyson, really. I don't know about you.
Because I think Anthony's seen that because obviously he's been brought up on Tyson.
I was going to say, obviously,
I've been brought up on Ali, and his skills for a big man was just unbelievable. I think, like, you know, speed kills, and I think, you know, Tyson didn't train for the fight, but if you watch what Buster Douglas done to him, you can imagine what Ali would have done to him. That's my opinion on it, like. But I love Tyson and all, like.
No, it's just a shame. Obviously, Ali's got the names like Frazier and Ken Norton and Foreman, but obviously Tyson has the names, but there wasn't anyone that sort of, when he was at his prime, just like... No. It wasn't like...
Obviously, we went through the phase when he took out like Spinks and Frazier and them, you know, they were all names he just took on his record. But I think once Kevin Rooney was out the pitch, I don't think he was the same fighter.
No?
No, I just think he lost that bit of discipline, and, you know... That's just my opinion, like.
Oh, no, of course.
Did tell Mike.
I know, but thank you guys, and good luck to your next fight, Anthony.
Well,
and take care. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers. Appreciate your time.